It is Monday, December the 5th, 2011, and I'm parked here at Highway 5 and 10, and just want to report a little bit, to provide a little bit of an update for you regarding what's been going on in Mississauga. There's so many competing issues for me right now that the best way for me to describe what's happening is that I feel mired in all kinds of conflicting issues, and mired to the point of paralysis. And it's not just conflicting and competing, but there's also this important kind of thinking that I have to do. It isn't enough just reading this book, Report on the Mississauga Judicial Inquiry, Updating Ethical Infrastructure. You need to think about it. You need to think what the implications are. So one of the things that I'm doing is I'm reading this, not just reading, but understanding the rules, almost to the point of committing certain things to memory. And then I go back and I read in here what Commissioner Cunningham recommended for improving the Mississauga Code of Conduct. And it's taken a lot of time and a lot of pondering, a lot of thinking. I'm also filing at least one complaint with the Integrity Commissioner. And it's got to be done right. It's got to be done right because I got really tripped up in a complaint that I filed against City of Mississauga Corporate Security. And I need to refer you to the series on nursing homes by the Toronto Star. And they were reporting on some of the horrid abuses at nursing homes, including one where a male nurse raped one of the women in his care. The Toronto Star, in that particular article, also said that when they reviewed the investigation letters in nursing homes, the actual letter, the resolution letter, was sanitized, and that's the word that they used, sanitized, and so sanitized that they really couldn't tell what the complaint was about or what they were investigating. So they couldn't, for example, determine from the letters whether something dealt with sexual abuse or physical abuse. I can tell you the City of Mississauga Corporate Security do the same thing. They sanitize their resolution letters so badly. When you read the resolution letter and then read what the actual public complaint was about, they're two different things. And just a little bit of background. I'd sent an email asking a question through public info at mississauga.ca. And I got a response that I considered rude enough that I asked for the identity of the individual who sent me the comment. And I repeated my request for that person to identify himself over a period of 3 months. So I gave the person almost 3 months to come clean and identify himself. When he didn't, I filed a complaint. The individual confessed, and by confessing, this person knew that he could stop the investigation, and that was it. And basically, I got a resolution letter that said, yes, the person was rude, he had been spoken with, and I'm to consider the matter closed. The point is that, again, when somebody reads the letter, person was being rude, it's been taken care of. No, the individual refused to identify himself. And when I filed Freedom of Information, asking them to follow the trail of where my email was sent, up across the top, it said Jamie Hillis, who's the manager of corporate security. So there's every evidence that the person who was hiding anonymously in email was actually the manager, Jamie Hillis, who's charged, by the way, with implementing the public complaints process and the policy. By the way, I fought that all the way to the IPC, Ontario's Information Privacy Commission, and they sided with allowing this individual his anonymity. It was a mistake that I made. Well, first of all, the biggest mistake was I felt that now that they had a formal complaints procedure, that it would be somehow legitimate. Clearly it wasn't. And I keep saying that the City of Mississauga has infinite capacity to pervert. They have infinite capacity to pervert policies, procedures, guidelines, provincial legislation, and anything else. And the same here. I know for a fact, just because of prior behavior, that if I don't file the complaint with the Integrity Commissioner absolutely according to this document, it too will be perverted. Also, just for the record, I don't believe for a minute that when I do file the complaint or complaints with the Integrity Commissioner, that it's even going to matter. Again, the City of Mississauga has infinite capacity to pervert. And something else, I've been talking about McCallion-backed councillors. Tovey, Mullen, Fonseca, Crombie, Starr, Mahoney, and Sato, 7 of them. And just a reminder that Nando Unica basically said to all the councillors, and he stood by this, and he said, if you did not vote for the inquiry, you're not fit for public service.
If you did not vote for the inquiry, if you do not agree with its findings, and if you are not appalled at what happened, you are not fit for public service.
Councillor Unica, I'm going to cut this to...
So you understand that 3 of the 4 councillors who are going to be working on this code of conduct and in possibly hiring and making recommendations for Mississauga's next Integrity Commissioner are, according to Nando Unica, not fit for public service. So that gives me a lot of confidence here. This thing here with the Integrity Commissioner and preparing a complaint, just believe me when I say it's got to be done in the right order, and you have to make sure as a citizen that you don't fall into the traps that are inherent in this document. And here's an allegation. They were put here on purpose. On purpose.
If you did not vote for the inquiry, if you do not agree with its findings,